Sarah gazed quietly at the red sunset as it touched the horizon on Mars. Her small farming colony was peaceful, filled with humans who worked hard to make life good on the red planet. It wasn't easy, but their community had hope and determination. She glanced over at Alex, her 6-year-old son, who was playing happily nearby. His laughter filled her heart with joy, pushing away her daily tiredness. Alex was all Sarah had left after losing her husband in an accident 2 years ago. She promised herself she'd always protect him no matter the cost. "Mommy, look!" Alex shouted, waving at Sarah. "I've built a spaceship." Sarah laughed softly, stepping closer to examine Alex's creation, a small model ship made from discarded metal pieces. "Wow, Alex, maybe one day you'll pilot a real one and visit Earth." Alex's eyes sparkled. "Really, Mommy? Could we go see Earth?" Sarah smiled gently and hugged him close. "Of course, my little astronaut. One day we'll visit Earth together." But as she hugged Alex tightly, an unsettling shadow suddenly darkened the sky. Sarah looked up quickly. Her heart started racing. Large, unfamiliar ships hovered above, dark shapes blotting out the sunset. The quiet Mars evening turned to fear in seconds. Alarms echoed through the colony. People began running everywhere, screaming and shouting in panic. Sarah held Alex's hand firmly. "Come on, Alex, we have to get inside." The ground shook as a bright flash of laser fire hit nearby buildings. Explosions filled the air with smoke and fire. Sarah lifted Alex into her arms and sprinted desperately toward their shelter. She could hear more explosions getting louder and closer. "Mommy, I'm scared," Alex cried, hiding his face against her shoulder. "Don't worry, Alex," Sarah whispered bravely, holding him tighter. "Mommy won't let anything happen to you." Just as they reached their home, another blast sent them crashing to the ground. Sarah felt pain shooting through her leg, but she ignored it, clutching Alex protectively. She looked up, eyes wide with horror. Alien soldiers were landing everywhere, tall and terrifying in dark armor. Their eyes glowed brightly, scanning the chaos they had created. They held strange weapons, aiming at anyone who tried to run. One alien soldier saw Sarah and Alex on the ground and began approaching slowly. Sarah's heart pounded harder with each step it took. With strength she didn't know she had, Sarah struggled up and shielded Alex behind her. "Please," Sarah begged, holding out her shaking hand. "We are peaceful people. Don't hurt my son." The alien soldier paused, looking at them carefully. Sarah's heart dared to hope. But without mercy, the alien raised his weapon again. Sarah turned quickly, desperately shielding Alex with her own body. A sudden bright flash filled her eyes. Sarah felt warmth, then pain, then numbness. As she fell, her arms never let go of Alex, protecting him even in her final moments. Sarah could barely see, her vision fading. She whispered softly, "I love you, Alex." "I love you too, Mommy," Alex sobbed, holding her tightly. Unaware she was slipping away. Everything around them was quiet now. The aliens moved past them, assuming they had finished their job. Sarah's breathing became weaker, each breath a struggle. But even as darkness surrounded her, one desperate thought lingered. Had Alex survived? Meanwhile, Earth received a sudden, terrifying message. The video of the colony's destruction appeared on screens worldwide, showing the ruthless attack. Sarah's face appeared clearly, desperate and afraid, protecting her small son. Humanity watched in horror and fury, their hearts breaking. Back on Mars, Sarah fought to breathe one last time. Her eyes briefly opened, and she saw Alex's tiny hand still clinging to hers. He was quiet now. She didn't know if he was unconscious or worse. "I'm sorry," she whispered into the silent night. Her last breath escaped gently, leaving her motionless under Mars's cold sky. Across Earth, people watching their screens felt their sorrow turn into burning anger. Sarah and Alex had become symbols of humanity's greatest pain and loss. "Enough," shouted Earth's military leader, General Marcus. His voice trembled with rage and grief. "They've killed innocent lives. A mother and her child. We must make them pay. His words echoed loudly. Earth would not forgive. Humanity would not forget. Sarah's sacrifice became the spark of a massive fire. Her final breath would not be in vain. Earth would rise up against the galactic empire. An all-out war had begun. Smoke still rose from the red soil of Mars. The colony where Sarah and Alex once lived was now silent, burnt, broken, and lifeless. Drones sent from Earth hovered above, the ruins recording the destruction. What they found shocked even hardened soldiers. Charred remains, melted steel, and the lifeless body of a mother still curled around her child. The footage spread like wildfire. Across Earth's networks, people wept, shouted, and demanded justice. Sarah's name became a chant. Alex's smile, captured in a family photo before the attack, was printed on every screen, every poster, every soldier's uniform patch. The Earth Federation Council gathered in a storm of grief and fury. The chamber buzzed with voices, angry, urgent, trembling with pain. This was not war, said President Ilara Hale, standing before them. This was a message. They killed a mother and her child not by mistake, but to scare us. She paused. The room was frozen, but they forgot one thing: humans don't get scared, we get angry. The chamber erupted in unified approval. Earth's skies darkened not with fear but with fire. Ships were being readied in every corner of the system. From orbital stations to moon bases, millions of humans, miners, farmers, scientists, and soldiers stepped forward to fight. They were not just going to war. They were going for Sarah, for Alex, for every innocent life that might be next. In the war room aboard the dreadnought Vengeance, General Marcus watched the final frame of the Mars footage. Sarah's bloodied hand holding Alex's toy spaceship, his jaw tightened. We won't mourn them with silence. We'll answer with fire. The humans named their operation Echo Dawn. A response not just in battle, but in fury. Far beyond, on the alien capital world, Vorthar Prime, the galactic empire laughed. The Yaoi humans are emotional, said High Commander Krax, dismissing the footage on his hollow screen. They mourn like children. They'll bark, but they won't bite. An aide stepped forward. But sir, they've declared war. Krax waved his hand. Let them come. They're only flesh. We are machines of war. But deep within Vorthar's military archives, one ancient warning blinked on a forgotten screen. Never awaken the full wrath of Earth. If you strike a human's heart, you will meet their soul. On fire. The Empire had forgotten that warning. Now they were about to remember. Because the humans had already launched their fleets, and Earth's vengeance had no limits. The stars lit up with fury. Human ships, black and silver like silent wolves, cut across the darkness of space. No longer peaceful vessels, they were now war machines, sharpened with grief and burning purpose. Every engine hum echoed with a single name: Sarah. Every heartbeat beneath the armor spoke one word: Alex. Inside the Earth Federation flagship Iron Will, the mood was different. There was no fear, only silence, only fire. Captain Rail Carter stood. At the command deck, eyes fixed on the holographic map. Red dots, the Empire's outposts. Blue dots, human task forces closing in like a storm. A junior officer hesitated before speaking. Sir, this is a full-scale invasion. We've never done this before. Rail didn't blink. No, we haven't. But they've never killed our children before either. In deep space, Operation Echo Dawn began. The first target, an alien. Supply moon orbiting a gas giant, Volthar 7, a critical logistics hub for the Empire. The aliens believed it untouchable. They were wrong. Human stealth ships breached its shields like phantoms. Ground teams dropped from orbit. They didn't announce themselves. They didn't give warnings. They came like shadows. Fast, silent, deadly. Commander Lena Hayes led the assault squad. Her team moved through alien corridors, cutting through metal and monsters alike. Her orders were clear: no mercy, no survivors. Inside a command center, an alien officer screamed, "What do these humans want?" Lena's voice answered through the comms, cold as ice. "They want justice, and they're done waiting." The battle lasted only 13 minutes. When it ended, the human flag stood where the alien banners once flew. News of the attack reached the Empire quickly. At first they laughed. Then came the next wave, and the next, and the next. Human forces were not acting like before. They were organized, coordinated, and unshakably angry, and the galaxy began to notice. Other alien civilizations, once silent, once afraid, watched from the sidelines. Whispers started. The humans are fighting back. The humans are winning. The humans are terrifying. Back on Earth, in a quiet room full of flowers and candles, a memorial was held for Sarah and Alex. The broadcast was short. A single speaker, a child from Sarah's village, read a poem, then silence, then applause, then every screen across Earth and Mars lit up with the same words. For every drop of human blood spilled, we will answer with fire. In the Empire's War Council, panic began to grow. "What do we do?" one commander asked. "They're hitting, faster than we can react." Krax, the High Commander, stood motionless. His face showed no emotion, but his fists were clenched. He had made one mistake. He thought humans were weak because they cried. He didn't understand. They cry first, then they burn everything down. The twin suns of Draxilon Prime, a wealthy Empire colony, shone bright in the morning sky. Merchants opened their stalls. Alien children ran through polished streets. The war, raging in the outer systems, felt far away. Safe. Untouchable. Until the sky cracked open, a ripple tore through the atmosphere. Then came the scream of descending human warships, black triangles, slicing through the clouds like falling knives. Sirens wailed. The citizens looked up, expecting the Empire's defenses to hold. But Earth had changed the rules. The Phantom Fleet had arrived. High above, General Marcus stood aboard the lead ship. Skyfall, his hands behind his back, he watched the destruction below, not with joy, but with a quiet resolve. This was once a place of pride. His second-in-command whispered. They built monuments with the money they stole from our mining colonies. Marcus nodded. Now, they'll build nothing. He turned to the comms officer. Release the message. A broadcast flooded the colony's systems into every device, every screen, every ear. You killed a mother, you murdered her son. Now feel what a motherless Earth is capable of. And then came the dropships. Elite human units stormed the surface, not for conquest, but for impact. They took out power stations, destroyed military stockpiles, and left the city in silence and darkness. They didn't stay. They didn't gloat. They came like judgment, and they vanished like ghosts. When the Empire's reinforcements finally arrived hours later, all they found were smoldering ruins, and a human banner pinned to a government building, written, in red, "This is not war. This is justice." In the Empire's throne hall, the Empress struck her golden staff against the floor. "These humans are everywhere," she hissed. "They strike fast and they disappear. What are they?" A trembling advisor answered, "They're angry, Your Grace, and they are not fighting for territory. They are fighting for a name, for a boy, for his mother." The chamber fell silent. Even the Empress, ruler of 20 star systems, felt something she hadn't felt in decades. Fear. Back on the Skyfall, General Marcus watched the battlefield fade behind them. One of his commanders approached, curious. "Why didn't we occupy the city?" Marcus replied without looking. "Because we're not here to build empires, we're here to tear one down." Then he walked away, already planning the next strike. Earth's shadow had now stretched across 3 alien worlds, and in every whispered breath of the Empire's citizens, a name grew louder. The humans are coming. In the silence between battles, Earth did not rest. While the Empire scrambled to repair its wounds, humanity prepared its deadliest move yet, not with bombs or blasters, but with unity. Every nation on Earth, every lunar base, every Martian colony had one purpose, one rhythm, one heartbeat. They were done reacting. Now they would lead. Inside a hidden facility beneath the surface of Europa, engineers worked in silence, eyes focused, hands shaking with the pressure. Before them stood a new creation. Project Titan. A warship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Forged in the memory of Sarah. Programmed with the voice of Alex. The ship's core AI echoed with a child's laugh. Alex's real voice. Pulled. From home recordings. It wasn't just a machine, it was a message. And when Titan launched, every screen on Earth lit up again. You took one mother. We rise as millions. On the edge of Empire space, a fleet of human ships prepared for a strike that would shatter more than metal. Target, Zercal Station, the communications heart of the entire galactic empire. If Zercal fell, the Empire's fleets would be deaf and blind. But it was guarded by fleets 3 times Earth size, locked behind energy shields designed to stop a supernova. That didn't stop the humans. It never had. At 0400 hours, Earth's fleet jumped in. Not from the front, but from within. Cloaked insertion pods buried months before activated from inside the base itself. While the Empire watched the skies, the humans rose from the shadows beneath them. They weren't soldiers. They were ghosts. Commander. Rafi Khan led the charge, his voice calm in the comms. For Sarah, for Alex, for every name they thought we'd forget. Explosions rocked the station's core. Alarm lights flashed crimson. Empire soldiers scrambled, but it was too late. Within 17 minutes, Zerkal's towers burned and the human fleet descended like the fury of old gods. By sunrise, the Galactic Empire's communication grid was gone. On Vorthar Prime, the Po, Empress watched the flames from a holographic feed. Aid. Should we retaliate, Your Grace? The Empress turned slowly. Her voice was cold. We tried to teach humans fear, but we only taught them focus. Meanwhile, on Earth, millions stood together as the names of the fallen were read out loud. Not just Sarah and Alex, thousands, more now, lost to war, remembered like family. People held hands. Strangers cried together, and all across the stars, human warships listened to that silence. The galaxy had finally understood something the Empire never did. Humans don't fight for power. They fight for each other. The stars trembled. Empire strongholds fell one after another like dominoes struck by invisible hands. No matter how fortified, no matter how far, humanity found a way in. Found a weakness. Exploited it. Not with overwhelming numbers, but with precision, rage, and a cause that refused to die. The galaxy whispered the same words. The humans are not fighting like soldiers. They're fighting like something ancient woke up. On board the Titan, Earth's most advanced warship, Captain Arya Lynn stood before her crew. Outside the hull window, the enemy's largest weapons factory, Forge World Ravarnox, loomed. A planet-sized factory churning out ships and war machines for the Galactic Empire. Arya looked over her crew, eyes blazing. This is the world that built the bomb that killed Sarah, she said. And it will never build anything again. No, one cheered. They simply nodded. Because this war was no longer about victory, it was about memory. Ravarnox had defenses thicker than Jupiter's core. Energy shields, planetary railguns, swarms of drones, everything the Empire had to stop an enemy. But it couldn't stop Earth's ghosts. Titan activated Storm Protocol, a human-engineered artificial space anomaly, a swirling, lightning-filled rift was born above Ravarnox's orbit, blinding radars, frying drones, and shattering communications. The Empire had brought fire, Earth had brought storms. As the sky twisted in chaos, human dropships pierced through the madness. Commander Sasha Tran, leading Earth's elite infiltration unit, Grey Echo, guided her squad through impossible winds and enemy fire. Their target, the core reactor, the heart of Ravarnox. They didn't have a backup plan. Inside the planet factory, alarms screamed. Empire engineers scattered. Gray echo carved through them like shadows. Blaster bolts lit up the hallways. One alien officer gasped, "They're here! Already?" "Yes," Sasha answered from behind, her blade already glowing. "And you've run out of time." Within 20 minutes, they planted the charges. Within 21, they were gone. And at 22, Ravernox exploded, not just destroyed, erased. The core collapse shattered the planet, lighting up the galaxy in a burst of fire that could be seen from 6 systems away. Back on Earth, people watched the sky feeds in silence, and then, slowly, applause began, not from joy, but from promise. You took a child. We took your heart. In the Empire's High Council chamber, the Empress fell silent as her generals argued. Do we sue for peace? Do we launch everything we have? Do we retreat? She raised her hand. No, she whispered. We kneel. But before they could send the message, an alert blinked. Earth's final fleet had just entered orbit over Vorthar Prime. The storm was no longer coming. It was here. The skies above Vorthar Prime, once called the jewel of the Galactic Empire, were now black, not from night, but from human warships. Thousands of them, surrounding the alien capital like a closing fist, every building, every tower, every monument of the Empire's pride now stood under the shadow of Earth's vengeance. Inside the royal palace, the Empress stood before a window, silent. Below her, crowds of alien citizens screamed, panicking, running, searching for places to hide. Sirens blared, children cried. Her world, her empire, was ending. On the bridge of the Titan, Captain Arya Lynn looked down at the planet. Are we ready? She asked. General Marcus, appearing via holo, nodded. The final signal just came in. Every surviving colony, every fleet, every human soldier is standing by. Arya gave the order. Open the channel. A live transmission went out, broadcast to every system, every Empire world, every language. Humanity didn't send a demand. They sent a recording. It was Sarah's voice, from her last home video. She was laughing, reading a bedtime story to Alex. His little voice echoed in the background, happy, pure, innocent. Then came the silence. Then came the image of their broken home. Then came Earth's flag. The message was simple. You killed our children. You burned our peace. Now feel our storm. The strike was precise. No cities were nuked. No innocent lives lost. Instead, every military base, every throne structure, and every warfleet dock was surgically wiped from the face of the planet. Human drones danced like surgical knives, cutting down the Empire's weapons without mercy. Vorthar's skies were fire, but its people were spared, because Earth was not the monster. Earth was the reckoning. Later, under white flags, the Empress was captured. No trial. No torture. Just a quiet prison cell on Luna Base. As she sat alone, watching Earth's blue glow from her tiny window, she whispered the name she once laughed at. Sarah. In the heart of New Earth, rebuilt in peace, there stood a statue. Not of a soldier, not of a general, but of a mother holding her child. Her name carved in every Earth language. Her son's toy spaceship held tightly in her hand. Beneath it, words burned into the stone. She was one. We were many. They took her. So we came. Humanity did not conquer the Empire. They ended it. Not for glory, not for revenge, but for love, and the stars would never forget. What happens when you take a child from Earth?